Have you ever stopped to question why you care so much and what that's actually doing to your life? Because most people don't, and it quietly destroys their life, it limits their opportunities, and it leaves them with a deep regret at the end of their life. And the problem isn't caring, but it's what you choose to care about. And by the end of this video, I want to give you a real overview of why you care and how to stop caring and how to start choosing what you actually care about, because that really is part of the solution. So let's start with the first part, which is why you care so much. From an evolutionary perspective, it makes a lot of sense why we care about what other people think about us. We are evolved to care about what other people think about us. For thousands of years, we have been really driven by needing to be accepted because it meant survival in a lot of ways. And even nowadays, it really still sticks around. Because if you think of speaking in public, for example, a lot of people have a really massive fear around speaking in public. It's actually a bigger fear than most people have about dying, because that visceral feeling of being rejected by the tribe still like lives in our body in a lot of ways. We have modern day problems with really ancient brains and bodies that are driven by what our ancient brains are telling us. And that's we're not safe. We need to be accepted, we need to be validated, and we need to be seen by other people. And in many ways, that is still true, but it doesn't need to be the driving factor of our lives, which for many people, it is unconsciously. So not only do we have this psychological evolutionary perspective that plays a role, but we also have this societal conditioning that plays a massive role that we really don't think about. I mean, if you think of childhood, if you played sports or you went to school or if you had family, we all had all of those. We are always looking for approval through those people because in many ways, it was where we found belonging. It was our needing to be loved. It was our craving to be accepted and admired in a lot of ways. And those aren't bad needs, but we often try to meet them in ways that make us feel really miserable. And one part that I think a lot of people don't think about is environment, how massive a role that plays in our desire to care what other people think about us. The first time I realized this was when I left the United States. I spent some time in Costa Rica for my first 2 week solo trip a few years back. And ever since then, I've been to Peru. I've been to multiple different places where every time I'm there, I can almost feel the weight off of my shoulders. I don't care what other people are thinking about me. I can go out in clothes that I don't care about. I show up and I genuinely feel less stress. I just feel it. Even in Hawaii, I spent a couple months there and I just felt more at ease. And I think in the United States, we have been really taught to believe that our value comes from achievement, from wealth, from status, from these things that we've been taught to want in many ways. And in that, we have been taught to care about what other people think about us because to achieve those things, it really plays a massive role. Now, those are really the big overview of why we care. The evolutionary perspective, the societal conditioning, and then the environment. And so those are like the real big takeaways of why you care so much. And you probably have some kind of awareness of those already. The difficult thing is that awareness just isn't enough. Otherwise, you would already just stop caring, right? But I hope that you realize, and in realizing what I just stated, that you're not alone, that all of us biologically and evolutionarily feel the same feelings in some shape or form. And it's a spectrum, right? Like all of us feel that feeling of fear of being rejected by the tribe. We all have the need of wanting to have community. We need community in many ways in our lives, and that should not be downplayed by any means. But what I want to get to is how to stop caring about the wrong things. This is the second part here that most people get wrong. On my leg, I have a tattoo called Memento Mori, which is a Latin phrase that means remember when you die. And I got this tattooed on my leg for many reasons, but for the biggest reason is that I lost a lot of people growing up in my life. My father and uncle both passed away at 37. My grandfather passed away a few months before his retirement. But in so many ways, all of us still live as though we're not going to die because we can't really internalize it. We can't conceptualize death. We don't know what happens after. And so how could we really internalize the fact that we're going to die? For many of us, we can't. And so that's why we care so much about what other people think about us, because we can't conceptualize the fact that we're going to die one day, that that day is going to come where we're no longer here. And if we really truly could accept that, then what other people thought about us, what we thought other people thought about us, genuinely wouldn't matter. Because if you recognize the fact that all of it is an impermanent, that you are going to die, that life is going to pass you by in one way or another, whether you care about what other people think of you or you don't, life is going to pass. And if you accepted the fact that you are going to die, and probably sooner than you think, because there really is only 4,000 weeks that we get, you wouldn't put so much energy into what other people thought about you, because you'd realize that in giving your energy to other people of what they think about you or what you think they think about you, it really takes your power away in life because you're giving your power away. You're giving other people the satisfaction of realizing that what they think about you matters more than what you think about you. And I hope you realize the fact that that will lead you down a path of real misery and disappointment and so much regret at the end of your life. So the first part is realizing that you need to zoom out. That memento mori, you're going to die, remember your death. And remembering your death will give you so much more, I think, really just awareness and the ability to break through those initial thoughts that pop up when you are caring so much about what other people think about you, or you're questioning if you should go down a new path, or you should try something new, you should start posting online, you should build the business. Whatever the thing is, if you just recognize you're going to die and nothing that you care about right now is going to matter in the long run, it will give you some kind of solace in the fact that, hey, this won't matter. It's not that serious. Let me just do it anyways. Let me do what I feel in alignment with. And that leads me to the second part about how to stop caring. And that is find something to care about. I think the reason that most people care about what other people think about them is because they don't have a meaningful mission to actually care about. If you had something in your life that really gave you meaning, it gave you fulfillment, it gave you what you were looking for, the satisfaction to be alive, the excitement to have something to move towards, you would not care what other people think about you because you'd be too busy creating the life that you know you're worthy of. And the downside is that most people don't have that thing. They don't have the thing that makes them feel like they are, like they have a purpose, like what they're doing is actually providing something to the world. But once you realize that just finding a meaningful mission, something that gives you purpose in life, will take away all of your worries about what other people think about you, everything will change in your life. Because when you're too busy building a life that you want to waste energy on other people's judgments, you can no longer care about what other people think about you, at least not to the level that you used to. And I really think that's where most people are missing, because most people are just thinking that what other people think about me matters so much. Doesn't matter if it's my friends, my family, people that I look up to, people that I don't even care about what they have to say about me. We still let it affect us in some way. And I really believe that if you just had something to give you meaning, to realize that you have meaning in life already, but you just have to have something to give your energy to, you'd realize how insignificant other people's perspective of you really is, because you'd be too busy working on yourself for anyone to downgrade you or downplay you or bring you down. And the third part of this is a quote, and that is, never take criticism from someone that you wouldn't take advice from. If they are not where you want to be in your life, why would you give their opinion to have power over you? Many of us do this in our lives, from family to friends to people that are just close to us. We value their opinion so much that it drives a lot of our decisions in our life. And even social media has made a massive role in this as well. People that you don't even know play a big role in what you do with your life because you let what they think of you decide a lot of your decisions. But what I want you to recognize the fact that if you wouldn't trade places with the person, then you should not take advice, nor should you take their criticism, because it's just not worth your energy. And at the end of the day, caring too much holds you back. It makes you second guess yourself. It limits your opportunities in your life because you question yourself way too much. And it stops you from really taking the risks that could change the direction of your life entirely. And hopefully after this video, you have the awareness to understand why you feel the way you do, why you care so much, and then ultimately how to finally stop caring. And if this was helpful, leave a comment below.